Hi, I am Cam Stout. Thank you so much for dropping in for a few minutes. I'm here to talk a bit about the continuing legal education presentations that I give on mental health and substance abuse. And those issues have become more and more challenging in the legal profession, haven't they? And I'm an attorney. The stats really speak for themselves. And these are tough numbers to look at. Anxiety at 71%, depression 38%. One in five lawyers, like myself, report being what's called problem drinkers. And so I am, or I have been, one of these statistics. I'm a securities defense litigator. I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. I'm also a recovering alcoholic, and I am the very, very grateful survivor of a very difficult major depression in 2013. I was able to fight through these mental health conditions, and these are health conditions. They are not your fault. They are not weakness. But I was able to push through them and to resume a vital and life full of hope and promise. And here's how I did that. In 2012, at the end of 2012, I had to go into a mental health facility because my depression had gotten so difficult. And it was a very tough time. I went into this big spiral of depression. Those issues run very strongly on my father's side of the family, but I began to get better. And I was able to find, with the help of professionals, and I don't give professional advice, but I was able to find therapies that were very helpful. I got onto a new set of medications. I recruited what I call a SEAL team. I talk about these in my presentations, a team that provides support, energy, accountability, and love, sometimes tough love, like mentors like me give. I began to exercise again. I played college tennis, and I'm a very avid cyclist, and I had not been on the bike very much because of my depression. But I got back on the bike, and that was huge for me. And finally, as I mentioned, I got sober. And so I came out of this very dark season of mine feeling in many ways better than I ever have. And so I have joined Glenn Close in her admonition that mental health really does need more and more unashamed conversation. And so I do that. I do that in continuing legal education sessions for lawyers. I speak with a lot of students, and I do a lot of one-on-one mental wellness mentoring. So people ask me, why do you share such a private story? And the answer is simple. I have a story to share. And I have found that when I tell my story to others, that it creates a community of understanding and compassion. And it helps to shine the bright sunlight into the shadows of stigma and despair. So that's what I do it. Now, going back to the legal profession, we just looked at some stats that are challenging, but I do not believe, and some people say this, that our profession is somehow broken. I think, though, that we need to adopt some fresh perspectives and to adjust our priorities a bit. So, what do I mean by that? And what I mean by that is we shouldn't let the tail wag the dog. And this is our family dog, Mo. Her tail, in my metaphor, represents profits. And I am not here to denigrate profits. We're businesses. I was a partner at a law firm for a long time. So I understand we need to make money. That's what we do. But we shouldn't let the profit focus become too myopic. We shouldn't let the profits wag the dog. And again, Mo's body in my metaphor is the dog. So what can we do? And I think that what we need to do is to change our perspectives a little bit. And a lot of my law firm clients are doing exactly that. And more are signing the so-called ABA Wellbeing Pledge. So let's talk about how can we do this? What are some of the ways to stop wagging the dog? And first is to adopt some reasonable, sustainable mental wellness best practices. And the first is simply to build up an ethos of expressing appreciation and inclusion by, saying to people, thank you for that great job that you did, and welcoming people into team meetings, etc. Pride service supported orientation training. So mental health best practices include what's called mental health first aid, suicide prevention training, how to work with one another when we have issues. Having a fully supported mentoring program is so important. Honor a work-life balance and self-stewardship. I call it self-stewardship because I'm frankly tired of the cliche self-care, but figure out modest ways to balance these things out a little bit and encourage people to get help. And friends, there is no shame in getting help. Lastly, get help. I am so grateful that I did, and I had to push through some stigma to get there, but I did. And it may be a little bit hyperbolic to say I owe my life to that, but boy, I am really grateful that I went to a psychiatrist and figured out what was going on with me. So, um, how can we improve ourselves? How can we feel better about ourselves? And again, to me, this is adjusting perspective. So, how do we go about banishing what I call the three confidence thieves? They're fear of failure, perfectionism, and the imposter syndrome. And I suffer from all of these. So I think let's start with imposter syndrome. The first thing is to understand we belong. We deserve to be where we are. We deserve to be in the firm. We deserve to have been promoted. We deserve to be partner, whatever it is. And we know this because we were hired. And I was on a hiring committee for, boy, a couple of decades. And we were really good at, figuring out whom we wanted to hire. And admission here, I am a huge Fred Rogers fan. And the firm, just like Mr. Rogers, likes us just the way we are. So, how do we deal with a mistake? And the answer to that is to work to fix it. First thing is speed dial your mentor. In my talks, I give a Yoda imitation. I will do it now. And Yoda would tell you, mistake you have made, freak out, you will not. Fix it, you will. Report everything now. You're going to make a mistake, but be honest about it. Stay out of the blame game. Don't point fingers, and link arms with your team and come up with solutions. And then on perfectionism, it's so difficult to overcome, isn't it? But do what you can to stop it, and it creates paralysis and inertia. So you have to get started on a brief. So get started. Don't worry about how good it is for a while. As it happens, I'm writing one right now. And I'm forcing myself to get started. So if we can push back against those confidence killers, it just helps us to thrive more and more in the law firm or wherever we're practicing. Next, what about that self-stewardship? What can we do? In my case, I've given up doing New Year's resolutions. I never keep them. Only 9% of people apparently keep their New Year's resolutions by the end of the year, and I don't. So I've started doing new day resolutions. So I've taped this little list to my fridge, and it reminds me to do self-stewardship. What do I do? Did I center myself in the morning? I say a little prayer of gratitude. Good morning, day. I'm grateful for this day, and I hope that I do some good today. I meditate a bit. Meditation is one of those charged subjects. People say, oh, I'm just no good at it. But there's no success or failure with it. I sit down, pay attention to my breathing, and relax a little bit. The exercise is so important. It only has to be moderate exercise. 25 to 30 minutes a day has been shown to be at least as effective, if not more effective, than antidepressants. I turn my phone off sometimes. I say something nice to another person. I'm of service with them. I say something nice to myself about myself. So those are some of the things we can do. So I would love to speak with you about the work that I do. And this is my contact info. So I hope you will reach out. And in the meantime, may you go forward with a lighter heart and a more focused mind. Thanks so much.